Fours are often called the romantic or the individualist. They long to stand out from the crowd, but sometimes the desire to be unique and different can lead fours to being so tough on themselves that they can struggle to really love who they are. And so the first mental health tip that I gave in my video for type fours was to learn to love yourself. And that can be a journey for type fours. Fours would benefit greatly from remembering that they are exactly who God had in mind when he designed them. And fours are also unafraid of their emotions. And so there's a lot of good in that, but there can be some struggles in that too. So that leads me kind of to the second tip I gave. Rather than feeling sad or just letting yourself stay sad or in, just this melancholy state for days or weeks at a time, not really doing anything about it, I said that fours could benefit from starting to consider what your emotions are trying to signal to you. Pay attention to, are you sad because someone crossed a boundary in your life and that really hurt you? Is there an issue maybe that you need to address with someone and that's why you're sad? So really our emotions are oftentimes a signal that we need to pay attention to something. So all types, but especially fours who are good at feeling every emotion, would really benefit from paying attention to what their emotions might be signaling to them and then respond and act appropriately based on what they discover through that process. So that's what I had for fours. I'd love to hear your thoughts and insights for type fours.
Yeah. So for all the heart types, two, threes, and fours, there's this lack of self worth. There's a feeling of, I don't know if I'm valuable or lovable. And so the twos try to go out and help other people to overcome that anxiety and that perceived lack of value. Threes try to impress people with what they do, and fours, try to be special. Okay, try to be unique and set apart. Um, but but fours are highly sensitive to criticism, so they just absorb criticism more than any other type.
Yeah,
And I can feel a little bit of this because of my heavy four wing. So
sure.
so fours absorb just like twos, like we talked about with you, absorb feelings in the room. Uh,
Yeah,
fours absorb criticisms, judgments, negative messages from others, messages that aren't negative, but they feel like they're negative. Like if someone,
hmm,
you know, says something, they can twist those words or color it in a negative
yep,
way. And this can distort their self-image and then trigger feelings of inadequacy and unworthiness. Like, oh, I'm broken, I'm flawed, I'm, just on the island with these misfit toys. And so they need to learn to establish healthy boundaries to separate their self-worth from these external opinions of
yeah,
others.
yeah.
Another one would be feeling misunderstood. So fours
Yeah.
often feel misunderstood and different from others, which can create a sense of isolation and detachment. And so this feeling
Okay.
of being an outsider can lead them to retreat or not fully engage in social interactions. So
Hmm.
in my type 4 book, I talk about how four is like it's Christmas morning and the family's opening their gifts. The four is in the room with all the other children, but it feels like for the four that they're on the outside of the house looking in the window at everyone else. So that
Wow.
they're present, but they don't feel present. They feel like they're an outsider looking in because they're just so different from everyone else. So
Wow.
this feeling of being misunderstood and not belonging leads to a lot of just feelings of alienation and isolation and being alone and feeling abandoned and all those types of emotions. So it's hard even when playing a board game. they, they can they can feel like they're not one of the you know insiders or one of the group, and it's hard sometimes to fully engage in what they're doing, whether
Oh,
it's a conversation or board game or whatever. So this is a
wow.
huge struggle for fours.
Wow. Okay. That's good stuff.